Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Facebook Live in the classroom today. We are at the Learner Support Center here in CCISD. We have the Alpha Showcase. We have Mr. Stanley Zavala here and Miss Joy, who's a teacher. First, we're going to start off with Mr. Zavala. Can you tell us what is this Alpha Showcase today?
So it's an opportunity to showcase the work that our 5th grade GT students have been working on across the district. They've been coming here every Friday for 9 weeks, and this is an opportunity to show off what they've learned, what they've explored, and share their learning with their parents.
And so how do the students get involved in this program?
So students who are identified for GT services get to participate in this program, and they also get to self-select classes.
Awesome. And do you know how many classes are available for these students?
We have 21 different classes, and we have over 500 students who participate.
Wow. And this is just in the fall, is that correct?
It's in the fall for 5th grade. In the spring, we also do 4th grade.
Awesome. Okay, and we actually have a teacher here, Miss Joy. We're going to go walk into your classroom here in a minute. But what are you teaching about this semester?
I had 25 of those students, and we did the science behind art and innovation, which is like a historical hands-on lab study from earliest culture that man left, which was rock art paintings 40,000 years ago, all the way up into blueprints that were used for engineering stuff. And we talk about all sorts of elements, and they really get to understand, the geology, the periodic table, many things. You'll see. It's a mess in there.
All right, well, let's go ahead and let him go in front of us, and we'll step to the side.
We have a water molecule here.
Yeah, so we've got students ready for their presentations. So what are the parents seeing as they're going around to these different tables?
They're getting to see a little lab that we did without everything out. So this one we had a lot of iron oxide, copper, chrome to make the different colors. The earth ores that people actually used in making their paintings, like the one behind you and the ones that the students did in front of you, they had to figure out how to deal with the water molecule and the rabbit fat, which would separate. So they would use yucca to use as an emulsifier or a surfactant. The next one is silver point, moving ahead in time to the Renaissance period and the old masters. Leonardo da Vinci would use silver point before we had pencils and things like that. And even though, if you remember the Vitruvius Man, it looks all brown, but it's actually just rusted silver point. And they have some galena out there, some silver from a coin and spoons, and they coat the surface with a little calcium, and they can do like exact replicas. On the wall there, you can see some leaves that are just almost like an X-ray vision of it, and that's just pulling the silver over the paper that's already coated. The next one here, we went out to Armin Bayou, and we're looking at nature as from a purpose of biomimicry, and nature has solved so many problems, finding water in deserts, finding out how to go through the air with less drag or water with less drag. And we've used those animal adaptations in creating our windmills and all sorts of technical things. We also have a little personality test here that we did on everybody.
Yeah, I took one just a little bit ago. Okay, and so what is this next one?
The next one is cyanotype. This is the earliest blueprints, and it does blue from potassium cyanide, and you use light to change the chemicals, and they're walking through it here right now. This was developed back in 1842. And so it gave people an easy way to copy before photographs. This was like an early photograph.
Awesome. Okay,
over in the corner here in the cave is how we started it out. I brought all the kids in. The light was out. It looked like a campfire. Everybody got to sit in the campfire circle and learn about cave art from a person who was actually out, and they're reading that script right now. So we had little candles and stuff in there. The next one is ink. So Chinese ink was one of the first writing things, along with the Dayo Hebrew ink. And so we have charcoal ink here. We have cochineal ink that's also a natural dye that says it's a bug right here. This is where we get our red ink from. It was in the red coats. It's in Skittles. It's a natural dye. Carbonic acid. Then you'll know you're really eating bugs. Then over here we have, this is gall. So you had iron gall ink. And then I also have pecan because I didn't have a lot of walnut gall is what you had like in the old Bibles and stuff like that, some of the early things. They also got to work and do an experiment with boiling the quills, cutting them at 45s, angles, and things like that. So this is the oldest type, the Deyo ink, which is a charcoal ink, and people got to try that out. And the Kool-Aid there is because I wanted them to do an actual dissection in this class, but we don't do a lot of knives in school anymore. But so in the ink sacs were removed, so they got to just do octopi prints. This is our acid-base class. He can maybe say something. What's an acid?
Well, an acid is something with a 6 or lower pH level, so like vinegar, for instance.
What makes it an acid? What does it like to give away?
Like hydrogen atoms. Acids give off hydrogen atoms, and let's see. The acidity level of vinegar is about a 1.5, which is what makes it a very strong acid. And
That we can use in class. We have stronger acids, but you know, we made things safe enough.
So bases have an 8 or higher pH amount, and so let's see. Baking soda, which is this,
That's like a
let's see, that would be a 9, which means it's a weak base, but it still works. And when those two combine, they try to neutralize each other's properties, and it makes an explosion.
It releases carbon dioxide. But anyway, we do everything where we're making things hands-on, and then we turn it into art at the end, so you can see some of the products. So this is using that. We also had some instant paper, which was using a rose petal to make it fast. And the rose petal and the cabbage-soaked things are just different types of litmus paper. And then you'll have the acids turn into a certain color and the bases turn into another. Over here is carnivorous plants, the true innovators. So we're always looking back to the natural world for solutions to things. And they came up with 5 different types of traps on every continent, save Antarctica. And the coolest one, I think, is probably the suction trap. And it actually pulls like 600 Gs. Like on shuttles and things like that, 8 Gs is, they don't even do that. So 600 Gs, they pull it in. It's a curvature inversion thing. And
All right. Is it the last one?
so, yeah, that's the last one. We have more plants over here. So, some really cool plants over here. Okay. Can you say something? This is the calm people.
Okay, so
Can
I'll be
you
right
just
back
do
with you
real
guys.
quick about that?
Okay, yeah, so right here we have a carnivorous plant bog, and so it has Sarracenia, which are the North American pitcher plant. It's kind of not as well known, but North America actually has the highest diversity of carnivorous plants. Although, a few other countries hold highest diversity for a particular genus, we have like broadest overall. So that's where the Sarracenia is here. It is winter, so things aren't looking their absolute best, but you'll have to forgive us. So that's the trumpet plant. They have a flower that's old here. And they've kind of an upside down flower. It's really interesting. If you want to look into it later, it's a fun read.
So
and we also have
North America.
Yes, North America, and then we have this guy's actually a tropical one. So most carnivorous plants aren't actually tropical, but this is one of the genuses. It's like an exception that is a tropical species. And so we don't have a whole bunch of good pictures right now because it's winter and they're tropical, so they're not like in our winter. But we do have one that just hasn't opened, and so you can see here that it's a regular leaf and it has a tendril, and then we got the picture at the very end, and this one hasn't quite opened yet, but it will. And they also do digestion by proxy, which is where they have like bacteria or protists and things that live inside the like waterish material. It's not technically water, it's a mixture of things, but inside the trap, that will help break things down into smaller components that then the plant can just absorb versus actually secreting their own enzymes, although some also do that.
So the other thing we did this right after the acid-base test class, and so we actually opened one of these and dipped it in to see what the digestive fluid would be like in here, and the kids all guessed right. It would be acidic, and they were all amazed at how acidic it was in here. So it was less than 2. More acidic than vinegar.
Okay, we're gonna head out. Thank you for letting us pop by. We're gonna head out to the next classroom. Thank you, Miss Joy, for letting us stop by. All right, Mr. Zavala. So we just were in one class. You're taking us to another. What's the other class we're going into now?
The other class is called Art in Nature.
Okay. And so, what kind of different classes do we have to offer in this GT showcase?
We have a wide range of different classes, everything from dancing to robotics to studying classic Greek culture. So we have a large range of interest for kids to choose from.
Is this the classroom right there? It looks like I think it's
Yes,
over here.
it is. I went one classroom too far. Sorry.
I'll just pop in. Okay, so the students are obviously giving presentations in there
Yes,
right now.
yes.
So what class was that one?
So that's Art in Nature.
Okay.
So they study various artists and look at nature through the lens of art. So they do a lot of drawing and painting and exploring, especially with live specimens. So
Okay.
they'll bring plants in and
Yeah.
flowers, and the challenge of just draw this one flower. But they also have to learn about all the background behind who came up with this, what technique are you using, who designed that. So there's a lot of connections, interdisciplinary stuff in that class.
So we see that there's hundreds of parents here that are here today at the Alpha Showcase. What do you want parents to know about all of the programs that are offered here?
I think the big thing is the great opportunity that the kids have to explore and to learn about some things that they're interested in much deeper. And the fact that we're able to provide this for them. As I told the parents at the beginning, this is a unique thing for CCISD, and not everybody gets to do this. So it's a pleasure and a privilege to get to serve the kids in this way and meet their needs.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Zavala, for showing us around
Yes, thank
for a
you.
little bit, and we hope that the rest of the parents enjoy the rest of the showcase. We'll see you guys next time.